and the rest of the BBA Student Council. And we just want to remind everyone about the survey that we posted on the BBA folder. It's not only for us, it's mostly for you to help both Mark and us to better understand what you want, what you want him to do, and what improvements he can do. And it would be nice if everyone answered and give critical feedback. And also, if you could not only answer with no, but please answer with some form of feedback. It's also completely anonymous, so if you think there will be any consequences for saying something negative, it won't. No one can see who's sending what, so please just write something, and Victoria will, yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm going to show you where the form is. If you go and click on BizCom, and you scroll a little down right here, you're going to find the form. Just click on the link, and it's going to look like this. So if you click no or yes, please answer why, because the feedback we're getting now is very general, and to improve the lectures, we need really good feedback. So please keep that in mind, it's for your benefit. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're a big fan of shoes in time.
Yeah, so this is the BBA. Yes? So hopefully the other two classes, they something like this.
I can see myself purchasing some things. I don't think I'll be able to afford fine not. So it's not a good investment.
It is actually nowadays. Once you get into it, you can understand and take care of it. And then get it welded, like the shoe lasts 20 years. And like a man who can wear it.
Okay, so today we are here. It's Abo, okay. Here. Usually we meet on Mondays, but there are also some other, like today it's a Thursday, and as you see, sometimes it's not 2, but it's 3 hours. So the topic today, it's called Review So Far. What I will do, I will go back, look at the first, second, and third, and there will be a combination of some feedback or thoughts from me, but then there will be more time for you to do exercises. I will be alone here first hour, and then we will get I think 4 TAs that will come here and be around, and we will continue in lecture 2 and lecture 3 until 45 with them looking at these exercises. So I hope you are prepared for not that much me staying down here talking, but time for you to do exercises. And look at, and I posted this PowerPoint. I posted it on It's Learning. So, and as you will see there, there's a review of what's been going on, lecture 1, 2, and 3. So. I will start then alone, and then we will continue with also students, these TAs in the second and third round. Looking back at the first lecture, there we are. We started the course with these two perspectives on economics, the size and growth, topics about economic or using GDP, and also using looking at GDP per capita and the growth of the GDP, explained by the size of the cake. The other topic about distribution. So income differences, that's another main important topic to discuss. But mostly we will focus on the first topic about economic growth. And then we went on to look at this. And we start up again, either alone or with somebody around you. Explain to neighbor what you learned from this figure. What was it?
Oh, we learned about the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution and the implementation of
Every year, and then it's going around countries.
Like the new technology, declaration of the Industrial Revolution, basically blockaded countries like Britain, which is Britain's the first country to do it, and the other ones are kind of result from Britain's, as we will see in China. But when you look at like how GDP grows so much, you'll have to look at the Industrial Revolution and the implementation of and how
not parking at and it's just TA anyway. We're not doing
that's the primary. Yeah, the hockey.
What do they call the Malthusian trap?
Malthusian trap. What is that again? Yes, I think that is. I think Malthusian is some sort of learning method.
Okay.
Before
So, what was this called? Hockey stick. And what you understand from the hockey stick? In the beginning, 800 years, not much happened. If we use GDP per capita as a measure of living standard, not much happened. But then, around 1800, things started to change. And first of all, it started in Britain. So in this period here, when things started to change, then first of all, it was things happening in Britain. I will not show you, but do you remember something else? When we compared this period here in Britain and combined it with what happened in India. Anybody remember what happened? What was the point there? It was a colonization, and what did it lead to? What happened to, while this was Britain, what happened to India? Ooh, going down. Yes. So some of the growth in Britain, it came from the colonization of India. Okay, to warm you up again, let's start with a multiple choice. This is a multiple choice. As follows. How was this? Do you remember?
No. Atmospheric carbon dioxide.
Is it at the first two?
Except for three, basically.
GDP per capita.
There's still poverty and there's still rich people, and there are more rich people now than there are. Yeah, it's a very deep topic. It's basically the emission levels. It's not that
That's like very first street in the world. To light the lamps with kerosene fuel from oil products.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that in my Pirates of the Caribbean. No, not that.
Probably, I mean, yeah, there's everything in that.
Must have been cool. I heard this, I don't know why they were heard from, but I heard like someone's grandma thought that she shouldn't like pull out the socket
Okay.
because it'll let the electricity spill out.
A few weeks ago, so it's time to go back here. What about GDP per capita?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we saw. Technological progress, enlightening.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But income inequality? No. So it's only 1, 2, and 3. In different countries, the huge changes and differences in income inequalities. So also how it changed. So first of all, these three, and to add something to alternative 4, what we get here, this is the northern hemisphere temperatures over the long run, deviation from the mean temperature. So this is the it's here. That's real huge changes is going on. So this is a topic. You know, this just at the end of the or there's this election coming up in Norway, and it's interesting to see that a few years ago this topic was the most important one. But with war and energy crisis and so on coming up, it's other topics that's typically or more important to people in Norway. Maybe it's coming back more because this would be huge changes that will going on in not only Norway but in many countries around the world. But we will move on then. That's what I had from chapter 1, and we move on then. These 2 chapters will be what we will be looking at. So let's start with 2, welfare inequality and limits of the earth. And afterwards we will go on to look at 3, technological and economic incentives. And as you see here in part 2, there are 3 topics. The first one, welfare, economic growth, and inequality. And they also add these learning goals, 2.1 and 2.2. And the second topic, technological productivity and Earth's limits, and finally capitalism. So I have some questions to each of them for you to look at, and then give you time then to think it over, and let's come back to it. But let's start then with what was an important introduction. We started with this idea about GDP per capita. It's a measure of the living standard. But is it good? There's a lot, something lacking here. If you use GDP per capita, you get Norway at the top. But if you use other measures, Norway is not anymore at the top. For instance, the one here, then Finland is at the top, not Norway. So let's, what's the point here? It is also according to the learning goal 2.2, know what gross domestic product, GDP measures, and reflect on the limitations of such income measures to assess living standards. So this is the learning goal, and you see here from the GDP per capita, that's a measure we can use to compare countries. And here you find Norway on top compared to then Finland. But if we look at this other index here, then we find Finland at the top and Norway down here. So can you explain to your neighbor why is Finland moving up and why is Norway moving down? Explain to your neighbor.
And higher population. Those people don't have a higher lower population.
Their GDP is much more even. That is what gets to
All the same. All the same thing. So I don't know what the. It's probably without we have simple
He was just getting something else. I was getting at the fact that GDP per capita does not measure inequality. It measures the average income. It measures basically just the average income, but that's just the GDP divided by the population. Right? So it doesn't really. It says that on average, the average version gets this much.
And that data is not necessarily accurate.
Yeah, it's not accurate. I don't really like GDP per capita because it's sort of useless. It's not, but it feels like that.
Kennedy, and that when Speedy we talked about, or no, Gabriel.
Yeah, we talked about it. But yeah, I don't like GDP per capita. It's okay. But it kind of applies to
I was just thinking just the excess of wealth in Norway since the after 1990. Looking at the amount of millions in Norway increased tremendously. So we have a 1% really increasing market. And so Norway's lack of this equality is causing all of a sudden Finland's overall net average.
Wrong.
Yeah.
There's more equality. So this is just general.
Okay.
Generosity.
Could you give me some examples why Norway moved down compared to like Finland? A weaker currency. But you find it here? They got the euro, okay? Also, no, yeah, but GDP per capita is in dollar, so it's already done. So in this one here we use the same currency. So with the same currency, Norway is above Finland, but not here. Not here.
I just use GDP.
Why not? Why not? inequality, where is it? Inequality, it's number Finland, number 2, Norway, here. So Norway is 17.
What's Costa Rica?
And Denmark 28 and Costa Rica. Costa Rica 58. Yeah. So social support. Then it's Finland 2 and Norway 19.
How is Costa Rica?
Norway 19. And yeah. Freedom 417. But generosity, we score better on generosity. So there are some there are yeah.
Yeah, it's a culture shock, I guess. That's weird. That's even weird at all. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear? Did you hear? One at a time, huh? Oh, from last year. So it's probably that there's change since 2012. So Norway was better off earlier. We've been moving down the list. No, in on this index. So this index has, like you see here, we get a score now 7.262, and Finland 7.736, and moving down on this index. But this is one out of many indices. So there are many like this. The point is that an index, a happy index, so they call it, like this, it measures more than just GDP per capita. But how do they get information about generosity? I mean, they ask people. So it's different from measuring GDP, because GDP is something you find in the statistics, like in Norway, statistics of Norway, and that's a harder number in a way than when you ask about are you healthy, what do you feel about freedom, and so on. But that's a point to make then. If we would have, we don't find, like, for instance, the United States on the map here, and that's because, for example, inequality, they are very low. So that's point. Okay, let's move on. Still in chapter 1, and then to understand more about inequality. So let's look at this one. And here I open for you. Again, I will always ask you, explain it to someone. But some of you don't want to do that, that's okay. But if you want, try to explain what can you learn from this slide here. What can you learn? Explain to a neighbor.
Right, so this basically just means income inequality has increased alongside the increase in GDP. So you'll see that the rent is just to market countries, right? So China's still rent just because it's just like nowhere notice. But and the deeper you go in, you see that it goes higher. And that's the
Considering that there's such a large
richer part of the population. And the higher that part is, the richer part of the population. So you'll see that places like China, it has like a very low curve and it just shoots up. That shows that most in China are poor or like pretty poor. But then there are a bunch of rich people. Countries like the United States and the United Emirates, they are also basically that. You'll see that the average person has a little bit more money than like China. But like the rich are like trillionaires.
Norway, overall, it's much more than rounding out equilibrium. Much more balanced. This is like China is a good example.
You don't see it here because it's very hard to see. Norway has a very low inequality compared to the United States.
Yeah.
So you don't see Norway's falling like kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't go. It goes like halfway up compared to the United States. It goes like halfway.
Yeah, I think overall the whole like equal quality of life is pretty well rounded.
Norway has a good quality of life. But again, if you look at Norway has a very good GDP compared to Finland. Finland has a better so that's why in the last one we saw Finland technically is a bit technical average level. You are more likely to be bored. Not even richer, just eat more equal.
Would you say, like, in terms of like overall quality of life, like what you're getting for the money is more that quality?
Not necessarily. I mean, we have better technology, or we can afford it. But I don't know. I've heard Finland has really good like work conditions. So when they work less, their school study systems are less emphasis on like hours in, more about like efficiency of learning. So I've heard like students in like school students in Finland, they work like 4 hours a day. They could like 7 in Norway. Yeah, like they work less. They're generally happy. Yeah, they're way happier. And I feel like that's a big part. It's not all about money, right? America's rich.
Yeah, people are
Yeah. Or
Okay.
not bad, but it's not
Can you give me some examples? What do you learn from this 1980 compared to 2020? Yeah. The rich-poor ratio increased. How do you see it? How do you see it? Yeah, but how do you see it on this? The last, yeah. So it's the higher, the more inequality. Yeah, and in the right 2020, you find United Arab Emirates on the far right side. Something else? More examples? What do you read? What do you find? Yeah? But if we look at China, what happened to China? Well, it moved. What does it mean? they got richer. So they moved up closer to United States, Norway, these countries on the right-hand side. While India, in a way, they started moving, but not as far. So that's points to make.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That we can say that some countries changed their ranking. Example, China. And the other thing here about the skyscraper, were not as tall in 1980 as in 2020. So the higher, the taller here, meaning more inequality. More inequality. Okay. Then it's time for some questions. Here, what I will do, I will show you the questions and I will come back then to each of them. So one is right. One is right, the three others are wrong.
I think it's C.
I think too as well, because it's appreciated that it's yeah, it is.
It does. I roughly remember what the risk score ratio is.
That's in the slide. It was an assignment as well. I thought you meant something shared. You said like use the rich poor ratio for like, is it one of the cases?
That was
all the Germans sit on top of the table and they sing that Italian song. They get drunk. So I first heard it, I was like, this is Italian, what's going on?
every German knew that song word for word. Yeah. That is like the song you get like this is not called.
You hear it every year if you ever go to yeah, like all the German countries. This is like the Sweet Caroline. You know the song Sweet Caroline. Lots of after parties across the continent. And I know in Italy it's Python in there. Texas problem. I'm gonna be ChatGPT notes.
These are from the I record from lectures, and then I get the results and then I use the like parts and export. Yeah, I just randomized classes basically.
I just like watch videos. I'm 7-minute video stuff. And I'm going to actually now memorize something that really or I taking actual notes. Not necessarily when you review it, you learn through the notes.
What I do is I go through the podcast, and then I usually like to sing it and just like write to myself. I know it's so tired. Like my
I checked out with Soyu. The right answer here is C. It means that the richest 10 of the population earn on average 85 times as much as the poorest 10%. So, if you look it up, inequality, there's also this thing called the Gini index, and it's more, in a way, a more sophisticated measure. But for you, it's easy, or it doesn't matter much. It's not difficult to find these scores. So, in an exercise, you would typically have 2 scores and you have to divide them. We get into an example like this. So we use these percentage things. Okay, let's look at a topic here. In chapter 1.5, it's called the continuous technological revolution, and also 1.6 explaining the flat part of the hockey stick. Here are, an important part of this course would be to understand or to talk like an economist. Then you need to know what do we mean by resources. We mean things like labor, machines, land, energy. What we mean by technology, we mean description of a process that uses input. Input, that's another word for labor, machines, land, and energy. So input like people, machines, to produce output. So we distinguish between input, people, machines, land, energy, to produce goods and services called output. And the progress, that's the change in technology that reduces the amount of resources required to produce an output. That reduces the amount of L or K, L for labor, K for capital. So these letters is also something we use like in the next chapter when we get to it. And here it starts with a production function. That's a theoretical thing, graphical or mathematical description of the relationship between the quantities of the inputs and a production process and the amount of output. So here, try to explain. Here are inputs. Input, capital, technology, labor, skills, knowledge, material. We put it into the production function and we get output out. So, it's important to understand when we get closer to this next topic, to understand that now we're leaving the real world. We are leaving this the point about, or we are exemplifying, and we make it easier by using models. So this thing about here is one example of a model or a production function. Can I explain like this? Function f of x, that will be all the inputs. That are inputs. So this could be labor, could be technology, could be capital, and out you get the output. That could be goods and services, etc. So these are, or this is an example of a production function. Okay, we are getting closer to first break. I will continue more like this in the coming hours. Then we will also have support from TAs. But first of all, we take 50 minutes, continue at 3 o'clock.
Well, I'm not